Rui Hachimura is having a fun career year. And albeit he's sitting behind Kyle Kuzma, who's been playing like a legit all-star. And this team is loaded on young talent and just veterans that need to be moved. And what makes Rui Hachimura an enticing trade target for some teams that actually want his skills? Something I found interesting about Rui is that he loves the mid-range, but he was never really much a mid-range creator. And a lot out of this came off of pin downs and actions that he didn't have to use the ball. But here is Rui's bread and butter comes off the double screen. And once he gets a swing from Corey Kisper, he attacks his close out with the one-draw pull-up and gets to the mid like this. Added one-drop pull-up is something he was not doing at Gonzaga. And his stuff as a mid-range guy isn't just his scoring. Right here, he is posting of Terrence Davis. And this has a lot of Sabonis coming over for the help as he leaves a wide open tires. Gibson and Ruby notices that T.Y.'s Gibson is open in the dunker spot. So what does Rui do? He eventually is going to stop this post-up and led with the beautiful interior pass. Got a size advantage, quick time drop to Gibson, and we're tied at 22. And at best, he's an okay shooter, which is something that she'll take with Rui's increased three-point volume. He's not as good as a shooter that he was last year, statistically, but he is shooting more, and that's encouraging nonetheless. And here is another off-ball action where Rui is going to cut. And once he cuts, he gets to his spot and rises up for this nice mid-range. And some of you all might already know what I'm about to say. Tactical basketball, man, that is tactical basketball. Rui, once again, is the secondary. And that's the secondary. He gets Trey Lyles on them. And Trey Lyles falls for this rip, gets out of position, and Rui just buys him to the rim. And I wanted to add this three-pointer again to show you that Rui is a legit off-ball weapon. And as a transition player, he gets this nice dribble handoff. It's a Kuzman. Kuzma goes for the dunk. They should trade Kuzman instead of Rui. Come on, man. And this is a beautiful connection right here to Borzing his cutting. And yes, I think Rui is a very good off-ball weapon, but this flash of creation right here is just so fun to watch. Here are some of Rui Hachimura's off-ball impact stats as he's in the 61st percentile movement points. The 75th percentile movement impact the 61st percentile rollman points. He is in the 50-80 percentile off-screen points for 75. He is in the 63rd percentile off-screen shares, the 60th percentile putbacks for 75 and the 92nd percentile and putback impact. Now, while Rui Hachimura is a valuable off-ball player, I think his isolation ability and his on-ball creation is something that teams are going to consider when they're trading for him. Like right here, for example, Rui Hachimura is really smooth in getting to his spots, and this is something that he didn't have coming into the league. But with this on-ball development, he's able to go ahead and get into his spots and rise up for mid-range shots like this. And this dribble handoff right here explains it all. Ruby is big, and we know that. And I classify him as a power creator because he uses his strength and his size to go ahead and get shots off. And right here was a perfect example as he uses his body to feed away Damian Lee and rise up for this mid-range. And here is a classic Rui Hachimura poster, which goes into his rip that he always does, and he uses his train to body Michael Bridges and go for the bunny. And again, he loves to attack off the catch. Got him with the shot fake and just drives. One thing I forgot to touch upon is that Rui Hachimura is a legit driver. He's a very good driver, and obviously, being 6'8" with that frame, he's able to use his strength to power over some of these smaller guys gardening. Him and a lot of the Wizard staff and coaches around the league love his coast-to-coast finishing ability. And this is probably my favorite clip from this game. Watching the film on that, Rui gave the Suns 30. He comes with his dribble handoff from Porzingis, which ends up becoming a screen, and that gives Torrey Craig a place to get in a switch with Aiden and really just hits this tough fadeaway mid-range. Like right here, he's going to post a really far out from the perimeter and he toss up the ball right here. And then he just hits this crazy fadeaway shot like, come on, man. And again, his ability to attack closeouts and get to his spots in the mid-range is something that a lot of teams need. Now, Rui Hachimura is not that good of a defender. If anything, he's probably like a neutral to a slight negative, but he does have flashes in spurts of him being a solid defender in the NBA. But as of now, he's definitely a slight negative to a neutral and also his past. He needs some development and it needs to get better here and there because I know he can make some of the reads that he does. Look at E is still mid-range oriented, but it's definitely much better than what he was coming into the NBA. But with the development of his three-point shot, he is going to be a very solid player. He is in the 94th percentile in isolation points per possession as a power forward, which is crazy. And he has a bunch of other scoring metrics that really favor him. So, all in all, about Ruiz Hachimura, he is a guy who needs a better situation. He needs a situation where he's going to be able to thrive and he's actually having a career year. The scoring jump has been kind of fun, although statistically it's not going up. The way he's playing is going up for sure. The onboard creation flashes are really fun to see. He is playing more aggressive, he's attacking the rim with a different style of aggression. And this coast-to-coast finishing ability is something that's really fun to see for him. And yeah, playing behind Kuzma, of course his stats are going to be going down. Like the volumes is not there, but in a role where he's going to be able to play more and have a bigger role, I think he's going to be fine. Teams like the Mavericks and the Pacers can use them. And I really like the situation in Dallas where he could be like a tertiary creator Ofaluka or even a secondary, where he gets a lot of, like, on-ball flashes and gets a lot of on-ball chops that can help the team out because they need them, like they truly do need them. And if he does take the jump to become like a at least, like positive defender, which I think he can just given off his size and his decent athleticism, he will be a fine player in the NBA. His scoring is there. Like, he's a legit scorer, he's a legit ISO creator, and he's a really, really good power creator. So, yeah, this was a bit of a brief breakdown, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't really get into bag on this one because Rui doesn't play a lot, but you know what I'm saying? You get the point. And to the Japanese viewers, shout to you all. Shout out to you all. But yeah, for Rui Hamura, I hope he doesn't get traded. But if he does, he's going to break out wherever he gets traded to. Remember that. So, yeah, you would rather be catching dead without my proudest catch the T. I feel like Y and J my way up to capacity.